Hi, everyone. This is Catherine Carmignani with Mass Golf, and I'm joined today by Alicia Madden from Titleist. Alicia, thank you so much for spending the time today.
Thanks for having me, Catherine.
Yeah, so I'd love to just dive right in and have everyone have a better understanding about your journey so far in golf. When did you start playing?
So I started playing when I was really young. I actually played at Oyster Harbors as a kid, doing father daughters with my dad and everything like that. It wasn't as popular of a sport in the town we lived in, so I ended up moving on to swimming and kind of fell out of it in high school. But when I came to work for Titleist, I got right back in, and I'm really happy to be playing again.
That's great. That's super interesting because that is similar to kind of my path. I started playing when I was younger. Then all these other team sports pop up, right? And you start playing different sports and kind of fall out of it. So it's a common theme that I hear. But so you're playing more. You're playing often these days.
I am. I will say one of the, and I think this goes for a lot of people as we're seeing in rounds played and everything. But one silver lining to the pandemic was I did have more time because I wasn't traveling for work as much. There weren't quite as many kids' school activities, and so in May started playing with a group of other moms in my town, and we had a weekly league that we would go out and play every Wednesday. So it was really great. It was a way to connect with friends and catch up and have some fun at a time where we couldn't really do so unless we were outside and socially distanced. So it was great.
Oh wow, what that is a magnificent silver lining that
Yes.
it's not only just for yourself, but you've got this great group of moms out there that want to play. Now, are some of those moms new to the game, or are they golfers themselves?
Oh, several were new to the game, which is great because that's what we need to be doing right now is welcoming more women into the sport. So some had played a little bit, but I would say none of us had played consistently. And it was so great to just establish that, every Wednesday night we were going to go out and play and have that on the schedule.
Oh, that's wonderful. So less travel now just because of the pandemic and things like that. But heading over into your career path, you've been at Titleist now for 15 years. So
Yes.
do you remember how you got there?
I do. It's kind of a funny story. I started my career actually at Arnold Worldwide, the advertising firm in Boston, which was Titleist agency, but I didn't work on the account.
Mhm.
A few years later, I was actually getting my MBA at Northeastern and bumped into an old colleague of mine from Arnold who had moved over to work at Titleist, and he happened to be hiring for a position. And I had started to really realize how much I wanted to get into sports marketing. And it was just we started a conversation, and about 3 weeks later, I was working for the company. So it was great, and haven't looked back since.
Well, that's the power of relationships and staying in touch with certain people. And even before that, am I correct in that you worked in the college athletics world for a bit?
Not in college athletics. I worked for
Okay.
Northeastern University. I
Okay.
worked in
Okay.
their communications department
Okay. Good.
in new student recruitment.
Okay. Great. Great. So it's been a path of yours, but clearly you've really blazed a path at Titleist and doing so many wonderful things there. So on the advertising and messaging side of things, how have things changed over time? And we're going to talk specifically to, the women in the game.
Sure.
How has Titleist changed its narrative or enhanced it in any way?
Yeah, I think, we've always, and I think anyone who's seen our commercials knows we have a big focus on our tour staff. But that certainly has evolved over the years where, I think it was almost 100% focused on our tour staff when I came on board 15 years ago. But we realized through research with golfers that they love seeing the tour players. That they didn't want to see that go away, but they also wanted to be able to relate to those golfers that they were seeing on screen. So we started to incorporate more amateurs, and we really want to make sure that all golfers see themselves in our brand. So as the years have gone on, we've really tried to be much more inclusive. We do specific ads with the LPGA players and with both male and female amateurs. And we just want to make sure that everyone looks at Titleist and our messaging and says, oh, I could see myself in that brand.
I love that. Because so often these big brands are just using, these big time athletes and yeah, oh, it's super admirable and things like that. But to say that, hey, I have a swing like that person, or, I thought that it was a higher end brand and maybe I didn't have access to that because I'm not that great of a player or whatever. But that's wonderful that, through that research, you're able to identify, people just want to have somebody to relate with.
Exactly.
So is there anything else that you've seen some, big success in speaking with the female audience, or things that might have been like, oh, wow, didn't think that would happen or resonate?
So the female golf audience is harder to reach. To be honest with you, it's certainly more challenging because I don't think women necessarily consume media in the same way that men do, at least when it comes to golf. I don't know that they're spending as much time watching the Golf Channel or on the golf websites. So we had to really take a look at how we could best reach women, and we've engaged with a panel of women who are in the leadership space in golf, and they've really helped to say these are the channels where women are paying attention, and this is how we need to reach them. And what we've really realized is women, they want to hear from their peers. We can tell them that they should be playing a Pro V1, but if they hear it from the ladies club champion or from the best player in their foursome, they're much more likely to actually try that golf ball. So I think what we've found is really we need to meet women where they're at, and we need to engage with them on course. And it's much more of a grassroots effort through ball fitting, club fitting, and other initiatives where we can really talk to them one-on-one or in smaller groups.
Yeah, it's that personal recommendation. And actually, one of my coworkers, his wife is a member of a Facebook moms group in the town, and whatever somebody recommends, that's like, everyone needs to really look into that. And it's that, oh, so and so recommended it, like I never knew, or I need to do more research on that. So it's through all of our lives and some of these other areas that absolutely rings true.
Exactly.
So
and I think,
oh no, please go ahead.
I think women just feel more comfortable in that environment, and they want to be able to have that one-on-one communication.
Yeah. So you mentioned the ball fittings, and maybe a commercial or an advertisement saying play the Pro V1 isn't resonating so much. So like, are there any big misconceptions out there when your staff's doing the ball fitting or talking specifically to women when they're visiting different clubs and courses about the great ball, like the Pro V1?
So I think there are a lot of misconceptions, and not necessarily specifically for women, but for all golfers. But I think, a lot of people ask us, why don't you make a women's golf ball or a lady golf ball? And quite frankly, the golf ball doesn't know who's hitting it. So we don't make any equipment that's specific to one gender, because what we need to do is look at your game as a whole, whether you're a man, a woman, a junior, a senior, and look at what is your swing, how fast are you hitting the ball? What do you need in your short game, most importantly? And that's how we should be evaluating what golf ball someone should play. It shouldn't be about their gender or their age or their swing speed.
Yeah, you hear that, ladies? We just had National Girls and Women in Sports Day here, and even the golf balls know that women can do anything here. So I love that statement. The golf ball doesn't know what your gender is. It's true, and I personally learned a lot about just the equipment side of things and the golf ball side of things too. So I'm sure with the equipment side for Titleist too, there's a lot of work being done, not necessarily needing a woman shaft or anything like that, it's fit to you, it's fit to your game.
That's exactly right. And I think, another really common misconception is that I'm not good enough to play a Pro V1. It's interesting. Actually, I think mid and higher handicap players, they tend to miss more greens in regulation. So they need to get up and down more often. So they really need actually they can benefit from a Pro V1 or a high performance golf ball, Pro V1X, AVX, even more so than a professional or a really good amateur, because they need that stopping power on the green to make sure it doesn't roll out. So it is an interesting misconception that, so many players say, oh, I'm not good. I'm good. Not good enough. You're good enough.
Yeah. So a big piece of this is just education. It sounds like more so than just singular messaging. All right. So what do you play with then? Which ball?
I play Pro V1X. Pro V1X yellow, actually, because I have really bad eyesight.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Pro V1X. Come on out.
Yeah, I need a little bit higher flight than Pro V1. So it was interesting. For a long time, I played Pro V1 and was playing with a friend over the summer who works in our golf ball marketing department. She said, I don't know why you're playing Pro V1. You need to be playing Pro V1X. And it was amazing how much it changed my game.
That's fantastic. And it just took a friend that understands the golf ball technology to kind of push you in that direction. That's it. Making any sort of improvement is always what I'm wanting to hear. How can I get better? What can help help my game out? So that's wonderful to hear. All right. So Women's Golf Day, an exciting announcement. Titleist and FootJoy becoming big sponsors of Women's Golf Day coming up in June. Talk a little bit about what drove the Acushnet company, Titleist and FootJoy, to jump on board.
We've been looking for opportunities like Women's Golf Day for a while now. We want, as I mentioned earlier, that opportunity to engage with women on course is really important to us. And here, Women's Golf Day has aggregated all of these events across the globe, actually, into one day. So it was a natural fit for us. They have such a great reputation and have really developed relationships with so many important industry partners. It just seemed like a natural fit for what we want to do, and to be able to get on course and engage with women and talk to them about ball fitting, talk to them about shoe fitting for FootJoy, and just the importance of choosing the right equipment for your game. So we're really excited to see how this year goes, and hopefully get some of our teams out to some of the larger Women's Golf Day events around the country on June 1st.
That's great to hear. And, Mass Golf will certainly be celebrating again at the links at Mass Golf. And, we just got the materials and emails and things like that. So we're all getting excited about it. But, what sort of initiatives might the Acushnet company have in place for growth of the women's game, whether it's some of those internal pieces for staff or, like you said, really, the time's now to engage further with women out on the course?
So I think I mentioned earlier, we have a group of women who are kind of leaders in the industry, a mix of golf professionals, college coaches, and even some amateur players that have really come to us and engaged with us on how we can push the women's game forward. And they are incredibly honest and forthcoming and give us really true feedback on what we can be doing, what opportunities are out there, what can we be doing better, what we're doing well now. So that's a group that's become really important to us. So, I think we have an opportunity right now, given how popular golf has become as a result of the pandemic, to not only better engage with women golfers and bring them into the sport, but to bring in golfers of all genders, ethnicities, ages. And I just think we as an industry have a huge opportunity here. And I'm excited that we're able to start to take advantage of that.
That's great. And has this group helped you identify, I guess, some of those barriers? We talk about this all the time in office and with different people, but, that hearing it from different constituents across the industry probably helps too.
Yes, I think there's two real barriers for women, and I'll use myself as an example. I think time is the toughest. Especially for women in the maybe 30 to 50 age range, where chances are you're starting a family, you probably work full time and are really striving for or at the top of your career, and it's hard to find not only the time to go out and play 9 or 18 holes, but then to also practice and take lessons and get better. And I think that's one of the big barriers for women. What we've found through conversations with with the group that we talk to and all women golfers is, especially starting out, it can also be very intimidating. And women are afraid to go out to the first tee and not hit the ball well. And I think what we need to do is make the game more approachable and seen as more fun, so that we can kind of take that intimidation factor out.
Yes, yes. And I see way too many videos out there of men not hitting perfect shots off the tee and laughing together, but it's so different for women to step up to that tee. We're just not in, or there are women out there that are just not in that comfort zone of, it's okay to miss hit, or feel nervous or anything like that. Or, I've heard of women just completely skipping the first hole so that they don't have to deal with a clubhouse or anyone behind them. It's like, so you're going to miss out on playing one hole. And so, but there's some great groups out there, beyond Women's Day, that have really popped up that are helping in the fun, the comfort zone area and things like that. Do you see, Titleist and FootJoy, I guess, engaging some more with groups like that? Or
yeah, I think we want to engage with women where they're at. So however they're playing the game. So we're definitely researching other groups to become aligned with. We have a great relationship with the LPGA Tour, and they have the LPGA Amateur program that we're very involved in, and we support a lot of their initiatives. But yes, we're looking at other opportunities as well, and determining where best Titleist and FootJoy can engage with those audiences.
So in that sense, what are some ways that you think, women can, I guess, elevate one another in the golf space, or encourage women to get out there to begin playing? Very clearly, you've done that in your own group, and I think that's fantastic. So I commend you for doing that. But, what are some other ways? How can we empower some of these listeners right now?
Definitely. I think if I can challenge the women listening to one thing this spring, invite a new golfer to come out and play with you, and help them go out and have fun, and, help them eliminate that intimidation factor. And with my group that I play with, whether, some are better than others, but we just go out and have a good time. And half the time we may not even keep score, or if someone wants to keep score and someone doesn't, that's how we'll do it. And I think just making sure that you go out and have fun and take that super, super competitive piece out of it in order to bring those new golfers into the game. I think that's so important.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I love that challenge to everyone listening. All right, maybe let's leave with, do you have a fond golf memory from this season? Anything that really stands out from 2020, pandemic aside and everything like that?
Honestly, I think it was the first night that we got it organized and managed to get out, because it was in May, and I think all of us have been cooped up in our houses for about 2 months. And I sent a Facebook message to the women that I had talked to, and within 5 minutes, everyone was saying, I'm in. And it was just so great. 12 of us went out that first night, and it was just, first of all, it was great to see friends in person again.
Yes.
But just the fact that so many women were interested was really exciting to me.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think people realizing that, golf is this safe recreational activity and that really nice outlet. Perhaps the pandemic really opened people's eyes up to it. I could use that social interaction. I could use some physical activity and things like that. So I'm just hoping that, we keep this momentum going, and that, more women, take stock of, the time they have, and consider going to the range or playing 9 holes and things like that. Cause it's not just about sacrificing 4 hours on a Saturday to play 18. So is the ladies league that you put together, is that 9 holes or 18 that you're playing?
9 holes.
9 holes. That's the
much easier to fit that into the week.
Yes. I feel like that's my best scoring at 9 holes. I'm good. Anything exactly after that, the wheels come off the cart. So, Well, Alicia, thank you so much for spending the time and speaking to, the women of mass golf here. And, we're excited that, Titleist and FootJoy are such great supporters of mass golf and the women's game, for not only, nationally, but globally as well. So really appreciate you taking the time. And everyone out there, for everything mass golf, make sure you're following us on social media at Play Mass Golf, and visit our website, massgolf.org. Thank you.
Thank you.